They find me, they will kill me.
What's that?
Codes. List of agents. Important papers. I risk my life to get them. Please, you will help me, yes. You must help me.
Take it easy, lady. You're quite safe in this building.
Please, understand. Next week, they send me back to Soviet Union. I want to stay here, in United States.
You mean you're asking for political asylum? Is that it?
To stay here. To be left in peace.
What's your name?
Tatiana Kogan. My husband works for Soviet intelligence at the embassy. I also work for intelligence.
Did anyone know you were coming here?
No.
Did anyone follow you?
No. I have planned this many weeks.
Wait here. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Only please. Please, they must not know where I am. My husband finds me.
Вы читали сегодняшнюю газету? Нет. Министерство внутренних дел не очень этим останется доволен. Да, Александр Николаевич, вам придется принять по этому поводу какие-нибудь очень серьезные меры.
Hallmark cards. When you care enough to send the very best, presents the Hallmark Hall of Fame.
Look at that. It's exactly as I found it.
They must have used a pickaxe. Any idea when this happened?
Well, no, I've been away for the weekend. I left on Saturday afternoon.
I suppose you haven't had time to check what's missing.
I thought I'd better not touch anything.
It's funny, they didn't take the telly or the radio.
Was there anything valuable in this cabinet?
Letters and manuscripts. But they have a value, but only to collectors. You see, this studio belonged to my father.
Well, your father was Lawrence Devlin, the writer. Yes, I thought I recognized him. What's out there?
Oh, just the garden. Would you get that, please? Look, would it be all right if I just tried to straighten up a bit?
Yes, but don't touch the furniture or anything. We need fingerprints. Excuse me.
Oh.
Miss Devlin?
Oh, Mr. Canfield. Oh, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot you were coming. I just got in from the country an hour ago and it's been a burglary.
Anything I can do?
No, thank you. Look, could we meet this afternoon or tomorrow?
Of course. Well, please, let me do something. At least I can...
Oh, said not to touch anything.
Well, whoever broke in here got over the wall by the shed there. Friend of yours?
Oh, Mr. Canfield had an appointment to interview me.
How do you do? And this was no ordinary burglar. He was looking for something specific. Look, I'm going to get a fingerprint man over. Why don't you go out and have a cup of coffee or something? We'll be here quite some time.
Right.
Come on, I'll buy you breakfast.
Lovely. I'm starved.
Hello, Brandon here. Is Dick Levitt around? Hello, Dick. Could you come over and bring your kit? 22 Suffolk Gardens.
Do you think it could have anything to do with your father's disappearance?
What? I don't see how. I mean, Afghanistan is 5,000 miles away.
What could they have been looking for?
Maybe they thought there was money hidden. I don't know.
You haven't heard anything about your father, have you?
No. The last of the rescue teams gave up a month ago.
Were the Russians of any help?
They sent a patrol along the border, but apparently there was no trace of him or the plane.
He was alone, wasn't
Yes. But he'd flown all over the world by himself. He was a marvelous pilot. Still can't accept it.
Are you all right, darling?
Yes, of course. It all happened over the weekend.
I just got in and found your message. I was horrified. Has anything been stolen?
Apparently not.
Well, what about the manuscript?
Luckily, I took that with me to the country.
Call the police.
Well, yes, but they've gone. Kenneth Canfield is helping me straighten up. No, the man who wants to write Daddy's biography. I told you.
Oh, yes. Well, I'll be right over. Bye.
Bye, love. It's my fiancé, John Haywood. He's coming right over.
I didn't know you were engaged. Not that there's any reason why I should.
He and Daddy were old friends. He handled our business affairs till Daddy married again. Of course, she knew he married.
Who didn't? She's a very famous lady. How's she taking it?
I've no idea.
She's still living in Switzerland
I would imagine.
and throwing those extravagant parties.
Mr. Canfield, under no circumstances do I have any interest in discussing my stepmother.
And Radler. That same man again. Wonder what he wants. Do you think he's a reporter?
I don't think so, madame. He says it is a personal matter.
Maybe I'd better see him, Lancome, but 10 minutes, no more.
Oui, madame.
Mr. Radler?
Madame, I beg you to forgive this intrusion.
Are you from some charitable organization?
No, madame. No, I did not come here to ask for money.
You sit down.
Thank you. It is a very delicate matter, but please believe I do not wish to cause you any distress.
Why have you come to see me?
It is several weeks, I think, since your husband was reported missing.
My husband died in a plane crash.
You're quite certain?
Are you a reporter?
No, madame. No, I merely ask if you're quite satisfied that your husband's plane actually crashed.
Yes.
You have no doubt at all when Monsieur Devlin was such an
Mr. Radler, you are by no means the first person to come to Saint Martin with some theory about my husband's disappearance. I do not wish to discuss it any further. Lancome?
But, madame, you have not even heard what I came to say.
Mr. Radler is leaving.
I regret, madame. However, I think this will interest you.
Wait. Where did you get this?
You do recognize him?
Where was this taken?
At a sanatorium in Leningrad. 2 weeks ago.
Lancome, leave us. Tell me. Tell me. What do you know about my husband?
wasn't like an ordinary parent. He was my closest friend. I went on all of his trips, and I worked on all of his books and the typing and editing. And we were so close. Sometimes I knew without any words exactly what he was thinking.
All right?
It sounds as though I had a fixation on my father.
That's where you weren't alone in that.
You know, he was immensely gentle. He could tame any kind of wild animal. And we had quite a menagerie at one time. There was a raven and a baby fox. And Simke, the famous ocelot.
It's funny, I always think of him as a hunter.
We went on loads of hunting trips together.
Just the two of you?
Hmm.
Yes, I'm beginning to realize why you weren't overjoyed when he remarried.
I resented her, of course, but it wasn't only that. Look, if you want me to talk about Elizabeth, you better turn that thing off.
There. Nothing you say can be used as evidence against you.
I hated her.
Why? She's a very erudite woman. Witty, too. I used to swear by her articles in the Observer.
Indeed. I consider her the most arrogant woman I ever met. She set out to acquire Daddy like another diamond bracelet or a Rembrandt.
I gather the fur flew.
We loathed each other on sight.
Well, what did Daddy say to all this?
Told me to go straight to hell. Quite rightly.
Did it ever occur to you that he might have loved her?
Excuse me.
Miss Sally Devlin?
Yes?
Judson Tichborne of Blakelock Bachelor Brahms and Tichborne. We represent Mrs. Elizabeth Devlin.
Oh.
On behalf of our client, we have obtained a court order permitting us to remove from these premises all the literary effects of the late Lawrence Devlin, including diaries, letters, manuscripts, and other memorabilia.
But everything in this studio belongs to me.
We have obtained this court order.
I don't care what you've obtained. Now, do you mind removing your
If you
umbrella
obstruct
from my
this order,
door?
you'll be guilty of
Well,
contempt
that's
of
perfectly
court.
all right with me.
But is Elizabeth within her rights?
Legally, without a question.
I see. Well, thanks, dear boy. I'll call you if there are any further developments. Goodbye. Bye. Hello, darling. Hello, Canfield. I was just on the phone to my lawyer. He says Elizabeth's entitled to take possession until the will is read.
I don't give a damn what she's entitled to. I won't hand over one scrap of paper with Daddy's writing on it.
As long as she has a court order, my dear, there's really nothing you can do.
What about his letters? They were written to me. They belong to me.
It's not just the letters. You've got so many of his manuscripts and his diaries. You've also got all the material for the book.
But he sent that to me, chapter by chapter, from all the places that he visited. He'd asked me to have it ready for him when he got back. And it's dedicated to me, not her.
Elizabeth is the executrix, my dear.
Well, she can put me in jail before I hand over one page. And that goes for her brother, the Secretary of State, and her brother, the head of the World Bank, and the whole bloody O'Mara clan.
You need a good stiff drink. Canfield? Thank you, sir. What are we going to do with this untamed and, I fear, untamable creature?
Why don't we obtain a court order and confine her to the London Zoo?
Ah.
Vixen Britannica, dangerous when roused by stepmothers.
You mean, unsympathetic wretches, both of you.
Don't worry. I'm sure that when the will is read, you'll get back everything that belongs to you.
With Elizabeth on the warpath, not bloody likely.
I don't like to intrude, but why mention the book? I mean, aren't we the only three who know anything about it?
I'd be willing to look the other way, at least until it's all sorted out and typed.
You both have to promise never to say a word to anyone.
You have my word.
And mine?
You can't.
Sally? Talking of books, how's the biography progressing?
No, I'm still taking notes. You'll be surprised to learn that Miss Devlin has become remarkably patient.
It promises to be quite a monumental work.
Jealous? Oh, I'm delighted. It's high time you stopped taking me for granted. You've no idea how galling it is to be engaged to someone you've known since you were 10.
Don't worry, faithful Fido's still capable of a growl or two.
Mademoiselle, oui, j'écoute, j'écoute. Ah, what, Madame Devlin?
Hello, hello. Da. Gramsci. Gramsci. Я sorry. Я не слышу. Dave! Oh, my darling! Where are you? What? I can't hear you. Where are you? Can you hear me? This is Elizabeth. What? Oh, it's such a terrible connection. I can't understand you. Where are you? Are you in Leningrad? What? Can't understand you. Oh, my darling, speak to me. Speak to me. There. What? Something's happened. He's gone.
Mademoiselle.
No. Oh,
Mademoiselle,
no.
on m'a coupé la ligne.
Oh, no, Deb. Deb.
I'm sorry, madame. The line is...
Oh, no, Deb.
But we will try.
Deb. Oh, no.
You're right. It is magnificent. Although some people may say it leans a little heavily on the brotherhood of man.
We didn't care what sort of government a country had, so long as it worked. He cared for people.
What did he really think about Russia?
Well, he loved the Russians. But he was stirred by the land itself, by what he called its lyric sadness.
And the political system?
Ah, well, he thought communism was wasteful and inefficient. He supported the UN, the common market, and he moved toward international government.
You know the most beautiful part of the book? The dedication.
Oh.
He must have loved you a great deal, for which I can hardly blame him.
I think we better stick to the tape recorder. Lord, look at the time. John's expecting me in 30 minutes.
When shall I see you?
I don't know.
Tomorrow? Have dinner with me. I'll keep my distance.
I'll call you.
Promise?
Promise.
Good night.
Good night. The glass broke. He came running right after me. He had on a dark raincoat and black leather gloves.
Well, that settles it. You're not going back to that studio.
Oh.
I'll send for your things tomorrow. Here, drink this.
Oh.
It'll steady you.
Mm.
Are you all right now?
Mm.
I can always cancel dinner.
No, just give me a minute to get myself collected. Oh. You know, I think Ken's right. There is some connection between the burglaries and Daddy's disappearance. I mean, one thing's certain. Whoever it is, that's what he's after.
Well, what use would an unpublished manuscript be to anyone? Besides, Canfield's the only other person who knows about it.
You know, Ken has a theory.
Sally, who precisely is Canfield?
What do you mean? He's a writer, quite a good one, actually. He's taught at London University.
He called you out of the blue, didn't he? Said he wanted to write a book about death.
His publisher wrote me first.
Oh?
John, you're not seriously suggesting that Ken had anything to do with that man breaking in tonight?
No, I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying you should be a bit more cautious. And whether you like it or not, Sally, I'm going to make a few inquiries.
Very excited. And I heard on the radio that there was going to be a parade. You know, that's all. There was going to be a parade. And I said to my cousin Carolyn, it was a slug, really.
Lord Pomeroy. Oh, good evening.
What a ridiculous statement. It's a monsoon.
Yes, you are soaked. Here, let me take that.
Thank you. Not a cab in sight, and the steps down to the tube were like Niagara.
Well, take your shoes off. We can dry them by the fire.
Oh, thank you. Oh. What a cozy little place you've got. Hard at work, I see, on the definitive life of Mr. Devlin.
Yes, well, for the record, Sally Devlin's moved in with John Hayward.
Yes, I know. A timely arrangement, don't you think? I mean, they are engaged. As a matter of fact, he's an old friend of mine. We belong to the same club. Play a lot of bridge together. He was asking about you last night.
Oh?
Plays the cards supremely well, but his bidding is a mystery to me.
Well, any new developments?
Yes, as a matter of fact, a rather bizarre discovery.
About Devlin?
Mrs. Devlin's protege, Hans Radler.
Oh, what about him?
Oh, I think I've got to sneeze.
Bless you.
Thank you. Do hope I'm not going to catch a cold.
Well, how about a nice hot toddy?
Oh, that'd be splendid. Couple of aspirins, too, if you can find them.
Certainly.
I'm so susceptible.
What about Radler?
Oh, he's a master of subterfuge. We peeled off more aliases than the skins of an onion to find... Oh, that's most refreshing. Oh, what a cozy little kitchen.
What did you find?
He's the husband of that talkative female who defected from the Soviet embassy in Washington.
Tatiana, what's her name?
Kogan. He was born Alexander Vasilievich Kogan.
Are you certain?
Quite.
What the devil's he doing up at Saint-Martin?
Blackmailing the Châtelet, most likely.
Now, come on, be serious. I want to know. I don't see the connection between him and Mrs. Devlin.
Thank you. Oh, come now. Supposing Devlin's alive. Well, it might be. Supposing the Russians have him stashed away in some fortress. What wouldn't his wife do to get her Nobel Peace Prize winner out of their clutches and back into hers?
Careful, it's hot.
What more superlative informer could they find than Elizabeth Devlin? She can walk into places that no Russian could get within a mile of.
If Devlin's been working for the Russians, maybe that's why he married her in the first place.
What a nasty mind you've got, dear boy. We must find out what's going on at Saint-Martin. Ever since Radler arrived there, the place has been shut up tighter than the proverbial drum. Sally Devlin must pay her stepmama a visit.
Well, that's impossible. They can't stand one another.
Then you must persuade her. And you must contrive to go along as her chaperone and bodyguard.
I can't do that. I don't want to use Sally Devlin.
I'm afraid it's an assignment, Canfield. She is the key to the Devlin mystery, and it is up to you to squeeze her, if you will forgive the tactless metaphor, into this somewhat disagreeable lock.
Devlin, there's a Mr. Canfield to see you. Oh, thank you, Annie. Just give me a minute, all right?
Am I interrupting?
Oh, no. How are you?
It's been a week. You never call. Am I off your visiting list?
I didn't know I had one.
Now, how's the book progressing?
Fine. How's yours?
Chapter 1's complete.
Very good. I'm on chapter 10. Sit down.
I was determined to wait until you called, and I wasn't too successful, I'm afraid. My tape recorder's gathered a lot of dust. Does your staying here mean that congratulations are in order?
Possibly.
Are you going to marry him?
Look, I really don't want to discuss John with you.
Maybe you don't, but I do. Listen, if you'd met me first, would it have made any difference?
That's not really relevant, is it?
Answer my question.
Well, I won't.
And do you love him a lot?
Well, he's a wonderful man, and he's my dearest friend.
Oh, come off it, Sally. You don't marry your friends. You marry someone because you love them. And I love you. I can't help it. I spent a week thinking about you every second. Incidentally, would you have any violent objection if I contacted your stepmother?
What for?
Information about your father.
Go right ahead.
You really dislike her, don't you?
I don't feel anything about her, and I'm sure that she doesn't feel anything about me.
Sally? Oh, hello, Canfield.
Oh, how are you?
Hello, darling. Now, what have you two been up to? Recording the past imperfect or the present indicative? Have a drink?
No, thanks. I was just leaving.
Oh, too bad. Sally?
Yes, thank you.
If you have time to give me another session on the book, you'll let me know.
I'll call you.
Promise? So long.
Happy scribbling. I have the distinct impression I walked in on what Sir Arthur Wing Pinero would have termed a situation.
How was your day?
Typical saga of the stock exchange. I made £2,000 this morning and lost them this afternoon. By the way, I played cards with my old friend Lord Pomeroy of MI5 the other night. I asked him about Canfield.
And?
Of course, he had to be professionally enigmatic, but I got the distinct impression he knew who Canfield was.
Oh, that makes him quite respectable, doesn't it?
You're determined to defend him at all costs, aren't you?
Listen, John, I don't want to be everlastingly arguing about Kenneth Canfield. He doesn't matter to me one way or the other. Have you seen this evening's paper or heard the news?
No, this is an unexpected...
Then you don't know about last night.
No, what happened?
When
Come in.
John's house was broken into. We'd gone out to dinner and to film. Someone blew the door off the safe and Father's book was stolen.
Was anything else taken?
Oh, Ken, don't pretend and don't lie to me. You saw me put it in the safe.
Yes.
Well, if you're involved in what's been going on, I want to know. I simply want to know, that's all.
You think I stole it?
We're the only other person that knows that it exists.
Oh, thanks. I don't mind having my face
Did you
slapped.
tell anyone about the book?
I gave you my word.
John thinks that you're working for the Secret Service or something of that sort.
Well, the Secret Service, as you call it, does not go around blowing up safes or breaking into people's studios.
I would imagine they do anything that suits their purpose. Ken, tell me the truth.
All right. I have worked for British intelligence occasionally.
Is that what you're doing now?
Indirectly.
And that's why you've been seeing me all the interviews and the rest of
No,
it?
no, not entirely.
Have you been passing on things I've said?
Yes.
I see. John wasn't so far off after all.
I wanted to tell you this many times, but I couldn't. Something is going on at Saint Martin. Something directly connected with your father's disappearance. Elizabeth has shut herself up. She doesn't see anybody. She doesn't go anywhere. Listen, never for an instant have I wanted anything but to find out the truth about your father. You must believe that.
I wanted to believe you weren't involved at all.
Someone has just arrived with news. You remember this?
Well, it's Dev's. I gave it to him. Where did you get this?
Where is he? Is he alive?
Yes, of course he is.
Oh, then prove it to me.
You remain unconvinced by the evidence I bring you.
Evidence? What evidence? A snapshot, a telephone call that might have been anyone.
Could you recognize by the phrasing, quite apart from the ideas, something your husband has written?
His style was unique.
Here, this is the first chapter of a book he's writing about his recent trip. And these are his notes.
Why didn't you bring this to me before?
He only started writing 2 weeks ago. I will bring you the next chapter as soon as it is finished.
Dev, you're alive.
Je veux parler à Madame Devlin.
Qui est à l'appareil?
Sally Devlin, la fille de monsieur. Je parle de Londres.
Attendez, mademoiselle. Je vais appeler madame à l'appareil.
Who is it?
Miss Sally Devlin in London. I'll take it.
Mademoiselle Devlin, this is Madame's secretary, Hans Radler. I'm afraid she's unable to come to the telephone. She's not well.
Well, I've written her several times. Has she received my letters?
I'm sure she has.
Would you please tell her that I want very much to speak to her?
I'm certain when Madame is better, she will call you. In any case, I'll convey your message.
It's the same old story. She's ill and she can't talk to anyone.
Well, thank you for trying anyway, my dear. Now, the time has come for me to reluctantly place my cards on the table. You know, Miss Devlin, we almost never confide in the laity, but we felt under the circumstances that we could not proceed without your help. Your father was a remarkable man in many ways. You did not know, I expect, that he worked for us all through the last war.
Father did?
And after. Well, he was invaluable. He had so many unusual friends. Nehru, Mikoyan, Nasser. He went on a number of special missions for us.
John, did you know?
No, not an inkling, no.
He risked a great deal to further what he hoped was international understanding. We're not always concerned with skullduggery and persiflage, you know.
I'm amazed. Do you know, in all those years, he never breathed a word?
Well, it's often the people we love the most. Don't you think that we know the least about? Your father was on a special mission for us when he disappeared. He left Afghanistan for Srinagar. He never arrived. At least, not there.
What do you mean?
What I am about to tell you will undoubtedly affront you, and I do not say that it is true. I devoutly hope it isn't. There have been serious leakages of information in our department for the past 2 years, some of which touched on vital matters. National security. I won't elaborate. We wondered if, somewhere along the line, your father became entangled with the Russians, and whether, in fact, he defected.
Defected? Do you mean betrayed you? That's preposterous.
He'd never have done that, Pompey.
He had no sympathy for the Soviet government. He'd made his position clear many times in his books.
My dear, the Russians set many traps. To be honest, we do ourselves. Those who live in the long white nights of espionage seldom do so from choice or from conviction.
My father was a man of absolute integrity. He was incapable of deceit.
He had secrets, as it transpired, even from you.
Is he alive?
He may be. Would you help us find out for certain, one way or the other?
Anything.
We believe your stepmother knows the truth. Would you be prepared to go to Switzerland and storm the citadel?
Tomorrow, if you like.
Good girl. May I use your phone?
No, wait a minute, Pompey. If Sally's going to San Martin, I'm going with her.
Oh, no, my dear boy. You stay here and improve your bidding. I'll send my man Canfield with Miss Devlin. He has been trained to give her the sort of protection she may well need.
How dismal it all looks.
I meant to send someone over to mend that window.
I'll only be a minute. My heavy coat's upstairs.
Sally, why don't you give up this place? You don't want to come back here, do you?
No.
Then why not get rid of it?
He was happy here.
Don't you think it's about time we made some decisions about the future?
John, you've been so patient. And I do appreciate it.
Are you in love with Canfield?
I don't know.
I see. Well, we talk about it when you get back from Switzerland.
Thank you.
What the hell happened?
Oh, Johnny, you hurt.
My heck. What about you?
I'm all right. Here.
Oh, no. Let me sit here for a minute.
Is it broken?
I can't tell. Are you sure you're all right?
So, Look. It's been sawn right through. Oh, my God, John, if you hadn't been here...
You might have broken your neck. Someone who knew you were going to Switzerland wanted to stop you. Do you agree?
It looks that way.
Well, one thing's certain. You're not going to San Martin with Canfield.
All right.
MI5 can do its own dirty work from now on. You can't trust any of them, even Pompey. Who are you calling?
I said, all right.
Hello?
Hello, Ken. I'm afraid something's happened. But I shan't be able to go tomorrow. John broke his ankle this evening.
Good Lord.
Well, it's only a simple fracture, but he can't get around at all. We'll have to postpone the trip, I'm afraid.
I'm very disappointed. Well, how is he? Is there anything I can do?
No, he's all right otherwise, but I can't leave him alone just now. Will you explain to Lord Pomeroy for me?
Of course. Don't worry.
Thank you. I'll call you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
did he say?
He wanted to know if he could do anything for you.
No, thanks. I think he's done quite enough already.
Will you fasten your seatbelts, please? We shall be landing in Geneva in 15 minutes. Voulez-vous bien attacher vos ceintures? Nous arrivons à Genève dans 15 minutes.
Hello, qui est à l'appareil? This is Hans Radler. We have spoken before.
I'm here in the village at the inn. I absolutely insist on seeing my stepmother. I'm afraid I don't care how ill she is. Either I see her right away or I'm going straight to the police.
Mademoiselle, you don't seem to quite understand.
You are, without doubt, the most obtuse, pig-headed woman I've ever met.
How did you get here?
Lord Pomeroy put me on a plane. Do you really think we arranged that accident?
You were the only ones who knew I was going to the studio yesterday.
That staircase could have been fixed days ago. Whoever did it obviously regards you as a threat. Your friend Haywood thinks I abducted you. It took half of MI5 to convince him that I didn't. Tell me, what does it take to convince you? Hmm?
Mademoiselle Devlin,
Yes?
I'm Hans Radler.
How do you do? This is Mr. Canfield. He's writing my father's biography.
I thought you had come along.
Well, I wanted to see Mrs. Devlin to ask her sanction for my book.
Oh, Madame Devlin is seriously ill. I thought I had made that
You
clear.
go on saying that she's ill. What exactly is the matter with her?
You must know that she has been under treatment for acute anemia for some time.
Well, is she a good doctor?
She's going to Zurich tomorrow to consult a specialist.
I insist on seeing her before she leaves.
You will. Madame has asked me to invite you to spend the night. She will try to join us for dinner.
Well, that's splendid.
We had not counted on Mr. Canfield.
Oh, I promised not to tire her with questions.
Very well, then. I have the car outside.
Canfield, I will have this room prepared for you. I think you will be comfortable.
Oh, thank you.
Mademoiselle, I've put you on the floor above. There's a magnificent view across the valley.
Oh, but...
I'll see you later. I'll meet you downstairs.
This was one of your father's favorite rooms. He often came up here to watch the sunset.
Did you know him?
I did not have that privilege, but Madame speaks of him so often. Maria will assist you.
Thank you. I'll ring if I need anything.
Dinner is at 8. There will be cocktails in the salon.
Thank you.
Mademoiselle,
Yes?
why did you come to Saint-Martin at just this moment?
Well, I'm worried about my stepmother. I want to help any way that I can.
I thought you were not on the closest terms.
Well, she's alone here.
Her choice. Her brothers have been urging her to return to the United States.
So wouldn't she be better off there?
She's been waiting, hoping for news. I'm sure you understand.
Has there been any news?
Not that I know of.
Will there be?
I hope you have everything you need. If not, there is a telephone by your bed.
We're down here. Mr. Radler makes an excellent martini.
Charming.
Thank you.
Your stepmother has gathered some magnificent treasures. Look at that tapestry.
That is a Cranach. And over there, that is one of the 2 El Greco portraits of St. Louis.
Really?
The other is in the Metropolitan in New York.
My father was such a nomad. This is the last place on earth I can imagine him.
Elizabeth? Hello, Sally. You've chosen an unfortunate time to visit me, I'm afraid. Mr. Canfield. So you are the man who wants to write about my husband. What makes you think you can?
I'd like to try, Mrs. Devlin, if you'll let me.
It's too soon. It's far too soon. And we don't even know if... Dev was quite wrong. You don't in the least resemble him. What kind of a man will you make of my husband, I wonder?
He will not be an easy subject to write about, Devlin.
He wasn't easy to know. I sometimes wonder if I ever completely knew him. Did you, Sally?
I like to think so.
He lived as an adventurer. He wrote about life as an observer. As your father. He loved you. As my husband. I wanted him to love me as much as I loved him. You know, it's strange. A man can be your whole life when you're with him, but when he's gone, I sometimes wonder how much of himself he really shared. Perhaps you can tell us who Lawrence Devlin really is.
I'll do my best.
Now, I see the wine, Lancombe. Did you choose this?
No, madame.
It was not a good year. Open a bottle of the 58.
But this is an excellent vintage, madame. Last night we...
Perhaps you will allow me to know my own cellar. 58, Lancombe.
Oui, madame.
My husband admired your biography of Lenin.
Oh, thank you.
What made you write it? Are you interested in the Russian experiment?
I think everyone should be.
Yes, it's the great 20th century myth, isn't it? They set out to create a workers' utopia. They evolved a bourgeoisie of bureaucrats and an aristocracy of tyrants.
Now, that is hardly a just estimate, madame.
They have achieved nothing that would not have been achieved in the normal course of the past 50 years without the concentration camps, the purges, and all the other horrors. And that includes the Moscow subway system, of which they are inordinately proud. The real miracle of Russia is that the people have survived at all. I'm sorry I can't ask you to stay longer, Sally. I have no doubt that Radler's told you that I'm going to Zurich tomorrow to consult a specialist.
Yes.
They have such ingenious treatments nowadays. They don't cure you. They just keep you alive as long as they can.
What is it?
I'm so cold. I'm always cold. I've been taking some new injections, some of Radler's miracle drugs.
Elizabeth.
It's nothing. I get spells of dizziness.
Would you like to lie down, madame?
I think I'd better go back to my room.
Lean on me, please.
I will take madame upstairs.
Go on with your dinner, Radler. I can manage.
You'd better let me help you.
You do as I tell you for once. Sit down. I'm sorry, Sally. Perhaps when I'm better, you'll come and stay with me.
I did so want to talk to you about...
I know, but I can't.
Is there anything I can do for you?
No. Good night, Mr. Canfield. Write your book.
Thank you.
Sally, I do wish now that you've... Let me take you to your room.
Maybe Dev was right. You are very like him.
How long has she been like this?
Help her, mademoiselle. She's desperate.
I think we should finish our dinner, don't you?
Sorry. I hope I haven't fatigued you. Richard Wagner, to me, is the peak of creative achievement.
Well, I'm afraid I agree with Rossini. Wagner had some wonderful moments, but some terrible half hours. Good night, Mr. Radler.
Thank you for an instructive evening.
We shall be leaving for Zurich very early, but you can sleep late. Lancome will serve your breakfast.
Thank you. Oh, do bother to see us to our rooms. I'm sure that Mr. Canfield and I can find our way.
Oh, in Madame's absence, you must allow me the pleasure of acting as your host. I think you will sleep well. People generally do in this mountain air. I hope you have everything you need, Mr. Canfield. If not, please don't hesitate to call. The house phones are all connected to my room.
Well, thank you. I have everything I need.
Do you have any playing cards? One game of gin rummy, just to make us sleepy.
Well, fine.
Well, there probably are some in the game room, but I'm afraid that part of the house is closed off.
Oh. Well, we'll just have to skip it for tonight, eh? We've both had rather a long day.
Good night, then.
I'll see you at breakfast.
I may as well say goodbye to you now, mademoiselle. I hope before long you will be visiting Saint-Martin under happier circumstances.
That, of course, depends on the state of my stepmother's health. And other things.
Was there anything you particularly wanted to discuss with her?
Yes, quite a lot.
Could I be of help?
You see, it has to do with my father. And what seems to be going on here.
I thought you understood the reason for Madame's illness.
I believe I understand it very well.
You're deliberately cryptic, mademoiselle? The British always prided themselves on their talent for diplomacy. It cost them the world. They ruled so long. There is a lesson in that, don't you think?
The lesson is not to think you've won too early.
Good night. Pleasant dreams.
I have been waiting for you, mademoiselle. It is a miracle you and Mr. Canfield came. They are taking her God knows where tomorrow. They are criminals.
Is there some way I can speak to her alone?
Yes. These rooms were all remodeled from the old castle, but some of the service corridors are still open. No idea what has been going on. Her letters, telephone calls. He has stopped everything.
Why don't you go for the police?
I spoke to Madame. She says, don't interfere. Everything will be all right. But I know, once they take her from Saint-Martin, Madame's room.
I've told you nothing. Tonight they stay here, tomorrow they return to England. Curiosity satisfied.
Leave here until dawn.
The arrangements have all been made. We leave at 7:30.
Dawn, Raven, not before.
Do you think our patience is infinite? Monsieur Devlin's life is in your hands. Now, don't try us too far. Since you seem to be in a somewhat nervous state,
Send her away.
don't make us use force, madame. You know how disagreeable I find that.
Get away from me. I won't take any more of your
Yell at her.
injections. Oh!
Now, that was very stupid.
What? Oh, Jesus! No.
Lavol now. Edita. Lavol now.
Oh.
I really don't understand you. Told me how much you love your husband, and yet for weeks you've done everything to obstruct my country's efforts to bring you together.
I despise you and your efforts.
Perhaps Monsieur Devlin will help you change your point of view. For a woman of your political experience, you're singularly naive.
How did you get in here?
Lancome, show me way.
Oh, go back quickly.
No, please, I must talk to you. We've come here to help you.
You love your father, go. Our only hope is that I do this alone.
Is he alive? Is that what they told you?
Please, Sally, go quickly.
Have they given you any proof?
Do what Rada says. Leave in the morning and don't ask any questions.
Any proof?
I can't tell you anything.
It's the book, isn't it? They brought you father's book.
What do you know about that?
He sent the manuscript to me. They stole it out of the safe in London. I tried to tell you. I called and I wrote. If that's their only evidence, it's worthless.
Oh, my God.
Elizabeth, you've got to believe me. Kenneth Canfield is with British intelligence. We've been sent here to try and help you.
But if Deb is alive and I don't do what they say, they might kill him. They're threatened.
Where are they taking you tomorrow?
I don't know. But if there's the slightest chance that Deb is alive, I've got to go there. I've got to go there.
Elizabeth, listen to me. Listen.
All right.
Now, would they have stolen the book and treated you the way they have if he were alive?
I don't know. How do I know you're telling me the truth?
You've got to trust me.
How can I be sure? I can't be. I've got to go there. I've got to go there.
A wise decision, madame. Mademoiselle, you will come with me, please, at once.
If you harm my stepdaughter...
You're no longer in a position to bargain over anything. Finish her packing. Mademoiselle. I've no time to waste. I want to know now. Did Pomeroy send you?
Who?
Lord Pomeroy. Did you see him before you left?
I came here on my own. But I warn you. If you take my stepmother to Russia, I'll tell the whole bloody story to every newspaper in England. You were right. They've been using the book to convince her that Father's still alive.
Have you seen Elizabeth?
Lancome took me. Listen, they're not going
Where's
to Zurich.
Lancome now?
They're taking her to Russia. Ken, what are we going to do?
Show me where Elizabeth's room is.
No, we'll go this way.
room is directly below this one. It's the end of that passage.
You stay here. I'll be right back.
Be careful. Raidler's armed.
Lancome?
Monsieur Kenfield, you must get Miss Devlin. I will get Madame. You can go down into the cellar and out through the kitchen. There is only one guard at the front gate.
Where is Canfield?
Why, in his room, I imagine.
There's been a change of plans. We're leaving right away. Have you arranged matters with Lancome? Get ready, then.
I think I made it plain before dinner. Your duties are exclusively confined to Mrs. Devlin.
I am in charge
To Mrs.
here.
Devlin.
We cannot leave her here.
Obviously. She must come with us.
Impossible. That's impossible.
She's Devlin's daughter.
I'm not concerned with you and your distorted sense of loyalty. I have no orders to include
Oh,
her.
come off it, Raider. Don't play the commissar with me. Don't you think your wife's caused enough trouble already?
Very well, then. Both be ready to leave in 15 minutes. Amateur. You're an amateur. You British are all amateurs.
Well, now you know. I did try to prevent you coming here. I must admit that the staircase was a rather clumsy attempt.
You knew about my father all the time.
When his plane crashed over the border in Turkestan, he was killed instantly. In the wreckage, we found his writing case with the last chapter in it. That's what gave us the idea of using the manuscript to get to your stepmother. This is difficult. It's not difficult for me to explain, but it must be rather difficult for you to understand. It's always difficult to realize that there are people on the other side. People who believe in a completely different point of view. But you see, there are. I made my choice when I was at university. Then it was simply a desire to be on the winning side. Since then, it's become much deeper than that. It's my whole way of life. It's the way I think, the way I function. Yes, well, if it means anything, I never lied about the way I feel about you.
What now?
Elizabeth, I imagine, will be going to the Crimea. Oh, don't worry. It's quite a show place. There may be a guard or two lurking behind the mimosa trees, but she won't find it too unpleasant. Elizabeth is too important for anything untoward to happen.
What do they want with her? What possible use can she be to them?
Raidler was an official of the Russian embassy in Washington. His real name is Kogan. His wife had a change of heart and defected to the Americans, and we had to get her back. Have you ever heard of the exchange system? It's quite popular between major powers.
They trade Mrs. Devlin for Mrs. Kogan.
Exactly.
Suppose the Americans refuse.
With Elizabeth's connections, how could they? No. She'll be safely back home within 2 months.
What about us?
I can't go back to London without you. I can't go back with you, much as I'd like to. And I don't know if I can adjust to life in Moscow.
It doesn't matter where we go. love you.
You pack what you need.
We go in 10 minutes.
Yes, well, you stay here and bring Miss Devlin down. Before we get to the airport, we'll get away in this car. Radler will have to stay with Elizabeth.
Oh.
Yes.
Please don't move. The road is blocked. And as you can see, resistance would be quite futile.
Are you all right, Mrs. Devlin?
Yes, yes. Oh, thank God you're safe. Oh, Sally, 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 Sally.
You're a welcome sight. I would have been able to protect Sally, but without you, there was no way I could save Mrs. Devlin. How did you know we were leaving?
We've been waiting here all evening on tenterhooks. Well, Miss Devlin, what did you find out about her?
My father's dead. He never was a traitor. But Mr. Canfield is.
Yes, my dear, I know. We've suspected him for some time, but we've never been able to prove it.
You never can tell, can you?
If it means anything, I never lie about the way I felt about it.
Thank you, my dear. You must have had a very trying evening. I'm sure John Hayward will never play bridge with me again. I expect you might be back.
Yes.
see the name of the game in color at its regular time.
This is Jim Hart's NBC News. Monday afternoon, Apollo 12 and its three-man crew will re-enter the Earth's atmosphere and shortly thereafter splash down in the Pacific. NBC News will bring you live color coverage of the splashdown and recovery of Apollo 12 beginning Monday afternoon at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central, and 12:30 Pacific time here on NBC.
Hello, this is Maureen Stapleton. Stay tuned now, because Prudential Downstage is about to present Mirror, Mirror off the Wall. George C. Scott joins me next, right here on NBC.